hail?
Yes, Rob, hail, we've had it, and it's indiscriminate where it strikes, and those that have had it generally get it pretty badly, and their neighbours or even a fence over the paddock is not affected. But I've had a look at some of the damage, and it's quite substantial. You know, peas, barley, brassicas absolutely stripped, just the leaves just all on the ground, the flowers on the ground, and the stalks standing, all bruised and damaged. So that lends itself to fungal and bacterial infections in the remaining plant if it hasn't completely been shot. If it's not looked after pretty soon, there will be bacterial and fungal diseases get into those plants. The only good thing about it is that it brings down nitrogen from the atmosphere when it comes down, and possibly a bit of moisture.
Possibly a bit of moisture, but where it's hit badly, it's been devastating.
Absolutely, yeah. Whether it be someone's home garden or paddocks of crop, doesn't matter what stage of development, they've been absolutely hammered. And even ryegrass had seeds knocked out of the head and practically useless. And of course, the forage market is a little bit depressed at the moment, along with the dairy market. So it's not even there's not a great deal of money to be made in turning it into hay or straw or whatever. Yep.
Ooh, our thoughts are with them all.
Absolutely.
Tell me about this wheat bug.
Yes, Nicias huttoni is otherwise known as the wheat bug, but probably is more destructive as a bug of brassicas. And what it does in a hot year, it loves a hot, dry year. And so we're having one of those and had one of those. So
apart from the hail.
Exactly. So it's absolutely proliferated. And what it does is at ground level, it ring barks crops like brassicas and even edible chrysanthemum, as I found out myself, is toppled over. Even flowering crops, it can drop them. And I have seen fodder beet that is something like about 3 inches across the bulb, completely chopped out from both sides, and the remaining bulb falls in half just because they've eaten right from the outside in. And indeed, it's very, very persistent. We had to spray that paddock 4 times. The bug kept coming in from the surrounding grasslands around, and so it's very persistent. Its other horrible little habit is in milling wheat. It dries in dry years and dryland crops especially. At this time of the year where the wheat is in the milk or the dough stage, the little bug climbs up the stem, up into the grain, injects his enzyme into the individual grain, and when you go to make bread out of that, instead of that bread rising in the pan as it should do, it stays as slop in the bottom.
And you don't know. You
don't know. But that is what is known as bug-damaged wheat. A lot of farmers think bug-damaged wheat is actually wheat that's in the silo and has had something like the sawtooth grain beetle get into it and chomp away at it. That is not what is bug-damaged wheat is. It's the Nicias fly.
There's no test for it all?
Pardon?
There's no test for it?
Yes, you can. Well, in the old days, they used to get a baking test done, and
yeah, the little wee tins,
the wee tins,
yeah.
And the wee loaves used to be produced, and a lot of that found out early on whether it was bug-damaged wheat, and of course, completely hopeless for milling, but probably okay for feed.
They're planning ahead for barley grass.
Yes, farmers need to identify at this time of the year where their barley grass is. I don't know many farmers that have none, but those that have some will see it at this time of year, curse it at this time of year, and do nothing about it this time of year, except they may actually put some Roundup over those areas, which all it does is open up the ground to the seeds that are in the ground from the previous year. They will strike in the autumn and after a rain. So they're creating a problem for themselves by actually thinking they're killing it and dropping the seed coming back. So things like Nortron, which are residual and will kill for a long period of time, need to be applied in April and May when you can't see the barley grass. So what I'm really saying is see the barley grass areas now, identify them, take a note, and treat them in April and May, not now, unless you're trying to stop it from sticking in the wool of sheep or something like that.
Exactly. Now, you mentioned bacterial diseases, but that was more specific.
Yeah, bacterial diseases, with the rain we've had and the humidity we're having at the moment, a lot of bacterial diseases will present themselves for the first time this season, and of course with irrigation that aids it as well. And a lot of it can be the splashing from the soil up into the plant, but New Zealand is missing out on a lot of exports of crops because of bacterial diseases, and farmers don't really identify bacterial diseases well. They certainly know about fungal diseases, but bacterial diseases like Xanthomonas, that can harbour itself on the seed and can be detected, and overseas countries do not want to buy stuff that's Xanthomonas infected. And also bacterial soft rot or blackleg, which is known as FOMA. We're having a real issue with brassica seed into China at the moment, and we're not making a lot of headway, I must say, and that's costing this country millions. So those bacterial things, they can hang around, can be a problem. We only really have three lots of armoury available, and one is copper. Copper is a very good bactericide. One is antibiotics, which we try not to use until absolutely essential, and the other is a disinfectant called Spore Kill. So that's about us.
That's about us. Well, that's about us for the season too, but have a Merry Christmas, and thank you once again for your undying support.